So it's been a little while. Been busy sawing. So, bunch of stuff has been done on the mill and around the property for the mill since we started the last video, and I guess our original saw shed is now set up nicely with the firewood processor under it, so that's good. It's out of the weather, and we have a way nicer setup here for the sawmill. Still some stuff to change, basically the same base, just blocks and 4x4s underneath. Now it's secured much better than it was up there, so I got boards screwed down. The mill itself, I actually got the feet screwed down now. I got boards across, and then that's screwed into our roof posts, and that's a 4x4 going across that I got my rails on. So I got one there, one there, and one there. So everything's screwed together so it's not flopping around, and just it is where it is now. It's just it's not going to move. The ground may still shift this way, but nothing's going to actually slide around, because we did have that problem up there. Was you're rolling logs in and turning logs, the mill was actually sliding around on the blocks and everything. So that's nice. That's not going to move now. The wood's like the log truck can back right in, drop the wood off. So the wood I can just roll in one after another, roll it right up the rails onto the mill. I do a lot of 8-foot. Obviously, that's all 8-foot stuff. 12 will fit through the door, so I can just tractor a 12 on and roll it in. We have done a few 16s. The 16s we just had to slide along on rails and put it on. It was a bit of a task, but anyway. So with the extension, I can actually saw a 16. A couple other things is, it might have been in the last video, but I did add a couple extra bunks since then. So almost every spot is filled now with bunks. They don't move, so when you like bolt them down, that's just where they are. So it's nice, because I know from that side of that clamp or stop to that side of that stop is 100 inches. So if I'm cutting 8 foot and it doesn't fit, I know the log was too short or whatever happened, so it goes off as short stuff or firewood or whatever it is. And that means that my ends, like I have 8 foot on the bunks, and I can get 10 foot on the bunks, and I can get from that one to that one is 12 foot, just under. So I can get them all, like the ends aren't hanging off. So if you got too much overhang, you're gonna end up getting a fat end, because the log, like your cant's just gonna sag. Once it gets a little thinner, the end will sag down. So that's nice. Like I can keep my bottom cut always 1 inch or 2 inch or whatever I'm sawing. So that's really helpful. And an added bonus, doesn't really matter on the 8 foots, but the bigger stuff, 12s especially, I can use this stop or this cross member and that cross member down there. And then now I don't need anything except for just a bottle jack to raise the end up. Super easy. That's nice. For the sawmill, I broke enough throttle cables that I just gave up on that completely. So their design, I think I was fighting their design because I burned out a clutch at 100 hours, and that was my fault for, I think, their design not being quite good enough where the it's in here somewhere. It's way down packed in the back, but their initial throttle thing that went on and you held it down, it was a bad shape, and it didn't have enough throw for the actual throttle of the engine. So like when it was a cable on there, when you throttled up the engine, it never went to full RPM. So I had the cable so tight, I was fighting the cable to get everything stretched enough to actually get it to the engine to full RPM. So you're not burning out clutches, and you're actually sawing better if it's at an appropriate blade speed. So what was it, four cables in like 100 and something hours. Like it was just whatever. Anyway, I was done with that. So now it makes little difference really. You just do it by hand as you're going, just and that's fine. The only thing I had to do was tighten the actual lever up a little bit. They had it nice and loose so it was smooth on the cable. And I took the spring and everything off, but the water now doesn't work, which we've cut like 10,000 board foot of spruce. I haven't even noticed without the water, and in the winter no water is actually quite helpful because you're not getting ice all over the sawmill and everything else. So anyway, the water, I just stopped using water and didn't notice, so whatever. What else? This is the main fancy part here. It was on sale last month, so I wasn't 100% convinced of it, but whatever. We bought it, and it's another woodland product that is 90%. It works. Like, no complaints. For the price and the install, great. It works, but it's almost there. It is really finicky just to get it right on where you want it, because you're like tiny increments. If you're off by a 16th on rough lumber, it really doesn't matter, but I'd like it to be consistent going up. So just that little, like the micro adjustments is quite hard to do. Like, you can do it, but it's just really finicky. And then when you're actually going up or down, usually from like your end cut obviously is at the bottom, and you roll your next log in to go all the way up to the top, is quite a long time. When you're actually sawing like 1 inch or 2 inch, it don't matter. It's nice and smooth because like the speed's pretty good for that, but it's just the big chunks. So if you're looking to saw cants or whatever, I don't know what you gotta do. Maybe change out the motor or somehow figure out how to put a throttle thing for speed on it so you can go faster or slower. There's a couple things that it could be better. Install wise, I mean, it was easy to put on, but I'm still not even convinced I did it right. It's a really kind of cheesy way to put it in. There's just like set screws and these little plates that go in, and I don't know. It works. It's been working. I can't complain that it is actually working, but it was just a really weird way to put it on. Woodland was really good. When I actually ordered this, they sent me the battery box and this extra plate here for the battery box, like completely free, no problem at all, because this is a 126, so it never had any of this available for it. So I ordered the power head, they gave me that. Great. It bolted right in, like it was 5 minutes to put that on. No big deal at all. We bought the battery they recommended, and I can get about two and a half hours. So the battery fits really good in there. It's a U1. It says it in the book when you buy the actual power head for it, the battery that they recommend. So I get like two and a half hours, and then it needs a charge. Then whatever, you saw for a couple hours in the morning, put it on the charger, going for lunch, and come back. Yeah, it works. I'd like a electric starter, so then the actual starter's charging the battery all the time. That'd be nice, but we'll get there. What do we got? 414 hours. So that's a lot of hours in what, 5 months? The first 200 hours was an absolute freaking pain in the ass. The woodland blades, like the actual woodland sawmill blades, I'll never buy them again. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. I couldn't freaking deal with them. You had to tighten it up so much to actually get a flat cut that you're just mangling everything. I was going through the belts like crazy, and blades were blowing apart. So I went to Wood-Mizer. I've tried like Casco's, silver tip and double hard from Woodmiser. The silver tip, like the base blades, that's what's on here now, seems to be the best to me. We bought a 10-pack of double hards, and I broke 2 of them before I'd even had a sharpen. And then another one made it, what did we get, like 8 sharpens out of it or some freaking thing? It was crazy. It just went forever. So I don't know, like, whatever reason, it didn't seem very consistent, but these guys have been pretty good. So that's seems to be what I figured out is the $20 blades, it's not even worth bothering with. Buy the $40 blade, you're going to be way better off. The money doesn't seem worth it until you actually start cutting something, and then it just offsets it completely. I also had went through a lot of the like the belts that go on the wheels. The woodland ones, again, maybe I'm doing something completely wrong, but they were just terrible. It's like they had layers of like the Kevlar or whatever they are, and like there was pieces of it like blowing apart. Like it was like you'd go 20 or 30 hours and then you'd see it coming out of the sawdust shoe. It was just chunks of rubber. So not really ideal. Ended up changing out, yeah, I got a bunch in here. These just come from Princess Auto, and whatever they are, they're the same size, like B57 and B, what's the other one? 80 for the idler and the drive belt, and it's the same ones. These seem to do a lot better. Like that's the first set on there, and I've got like, well, Fred, there's probably 100 hours on them now, and they're still going strong, no problems at all. So that's like, what else can you ask for? It's comparable price for those belts, so whatever, it does the job. The clutch, again, I kind of went into that a little bit. The first clutch was done, like we couldn't even cut through a piece of wood at 100, it was like 120. It was like, it was totally like gone. And well, 413 on the second clutch. So if the first one was bad, or if it was that throttle system or whatever the frig it was, that's doing a lot better now. No problems at all. I'm sure it's a lot due to the fact that, again, like if I'm just doing it by hand, I can just open it up and it stays open. So like even with that manual throttle, like if your hand just moved a little bit, now you're letting off and whatever. That's like, I don't mind at all. Does the job. That's pretty much it. There's a couple little minor things, like the one, whatever, the door swing thing cracked, like, so it's one side of it's broke, and whatever, that's just vibration. I'll call them at some point and see what they can do. The aluminum little rivets for the whatever it is holds the like your packet for the mill, it was riveted into that side. The rivets broke, and I ended up just breaking the last rivet off and threw it away. And again, like minor stuff like that. Everything else is still all original. Like, yeah, wear parts are going, but I haven't changed any bearings, or like the guide blocks and all that is still original equipment. I've had to adjust the rubber, whatever they are, neoprene plastic stuff, like these guys, the sleeves, a number of times. I don't know if it's the rattle that's doing it, like just the constant vibration from the mill, or if they are actually wearing down that quick. It seems to be the bottom ones more so, and again, it could just be that like the bolts eventually just loosen themselves off, but I've had to adjust them quite a few times. And other than that, like for what you pay for it, it's doing the job. Like I saw some nice stuff, and what's the complaint, I guess, for the price? Yeah, a Woodmiser or Cook's saw or whatever, probably quite a bit better, but you're paying 8 times as much for it. So is it better? Like maybe. I'm at least, well, end of last quarter, we were around 30,000 board foot, and that was 300 something hours. So we're probably get through this, we'll be at least at 40,000 board foot. That's really that's a lot of wood on a cheap sawmill. So it's doing well. I can't say too much bad about them. They're Woodland customer service wise, they've been really good for everything that we've done. There's only been a couple of little bitchy things, I guess, with them, but like you call them up, they're gonna do their best to help you, and that's really a big difference. And I guess that's it. Thanks.